The knock came at 9:47 on a Tuesday night. 3 soft taps, hesitant like whoever was on the other side wasn't sure they should be there. I opened the door and found my neighbor standing in the hallway barefoot, holding a bottle of cheap wine with a wrinkled label. No makeup, hair down, eyes red. "Can I come in?" Her voice was different, tired in a way I'd never heard before. I'd known her for 2 years as the polished woman in the business suits who left every morning at 7 sharp, heels clicking down the hallway. We'd exchanged maybe a dozen words total. Good morning, good night. That was it. But that night she stood on my doormat looking like someone who'd finally run out of whatever had been holding her together. "I'm older and I'm tired," she said, her voice barely steady, "and I think I'm in love with you." I didn't respond right away. Couldn't. My brain was still catching up. She kept going. "I'm sorry, I know this is weird, but I needed to say it before I couldn't anymore." I stepped aside, let her in. I didn't ask questions. Not yet. What she told me that night changed everything I thought I understood about her, about myself, about what it means to be exhausted by your own life. But to understand why she came to me that night, I need to take you back to the beginning. My life is simple. I wake up at 6, make coffee in the same chipped mug I've had for 5 years, and head out to whatever job is on the schedule. I'm an electrician, self-employed. I work in houses, small businesses, the occasional office building. I fix things, replace outlets, run wire, troubleshoot breakers that keep tripping for reasons no one can figure out. It's good work, honest work. I come home tired in a way that feels earned. I live in an old building in a working-class neighborhood on the east side of the city. The rent is reasonable. The building has character, which is code for the floors creak and the radiators clang all winter. My apartment is small. 1 bedroom, a kitchen that opens into the living room, a bathroom where the fan makes a grinding noise I keep meaning to fix but never do. It's not bad. It's just quiet. I moved back here 3 years ago after my father died. My mother had passed years before that. There wasn't any reason to stay where I was, a bigger city 2 states over, a job that felt the same as every other job, an apartment I never really made into a home. So I came back, rented this place, started over, though I'm not sure what I was starting. The building is old but well kept, brick exterior, narrow hallways, thin walls. I can hear my neighbor through the wall we share. Not conversations, just movements. The sound of her leaving every morning at 7, heels in the hallway. The front door closing, then silence until late at night when I hear her come back. I see her sometimes, in the hallway, at the mailboxes. She's a few years older than me, late 30s, maybe 40, always dressed sharp, blazers, tailored pants, hair pulled back tight. She carries herself like someone who's used to being in control. We're polite. Good morning, good night. Sometimes a nod if we're both checking mail. That's it. I don't know her name for the first 6 months. Then I see it on a package left by her door. First initial, last name, professional. Like everything else about her. I don't have friends here, not real ones. I hang out with guys from work sometimes. We grab beers, watch games, talk about jobs and equipment and which supply house has the best prices. It's fine. Surface level. Safe. I stopped trying to date about a year after I moved back. 3 relationships in 2 years, all ending the same way. You're nice, but I just don't feel that spark. I think we want different things. After the 3rd one, I stopped. Not out of bitterness. Just exhaustion. It felt like trying to fit into spaces I didn't belong. My routine is predictable. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I go to the gym in the basement of a community center 6 blocks away. It's not fancy. Dumbbells, a few machines, a heavy bag in the corner. I lift, run on the treadmill, shower, go home. Tuesdays and Thursdays I cook something decent. Pasta, chicken, rice, and vegetables. I make enough for leftovers. I eat at the small table by the window, looking out at the street below. People walking dogs, cars passing. The world moving while I sit still. Weekends I do small repairs around the apartment. Fix the cabinet door that won't close right. Caulk the tub. Sometimes I read, mostly nonfiction, history, biographies, books about how things work. It's a functional life. I pay my bills. I show up. I do good work. I'm not unhappy, but I am lonely. Not in a desperate way, just in the quiet, constant way of someone who's gotten used to their own company. I talk to myself sometimes while I'm working. Not full conversations. Just narration. Okay, neutral wire goes here. That's your problem right there. Little comments to fill the silence. At night, I lie in bed and listen to the building. Pipes groaning. Someone's TV on too loud 3 floors up. The hum of the refrigerator in my kitchen. And through the wall, sometimes I hear her, my neighbor, moving around in her apartment, opening and closing drawers, running water. The faint sound of her phone ringing, her voice answering in that clipped professional tone. I wonder about her sometimes, what her life is like, if she's lonely too, if she ever notices me the way I notice her. But I never ask. We're just 2 people living separate lives on opposite sides of the same wall. That was my life. Predictable, quiet, manageable, until that Tuesday night when she knocked on my door and everything changed. Before I tell you what happened next, do me a favor. Drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from. I love hearing from you all. And if you're finding this worthwhile, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me keep bringing you these stories. Now let me tell you what changed everything. It was a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays I cook. I'd just finished cleaning up from dinner, chicken and roasted vegetables, and had taken a shower. I was in sweatpants and an old t-shirt, about to settle in with a book, when I heard the knock. 3 soft taps, tentative. I opened the door and there she was, my neighbor, but not the version I was used to seeing. No makeup, hair loose around her shoulders instead of pulled back, barefoot. She was wearing jeans and a sweater that looked like she'd been pulling at it. In her hand was a bottle of wine, the label crumpled like she'd been gripping it too hard. Can I come in? Her voice was different, smaller, tired. I stood there for a second, my brain trying to catch up to what was happening. Yeah, of course. I stepped aside and she walked in slowly, like she wasn't entirely sure she should be there. She stopped in the middle of my small living room, looking around like she'd never seen a couch and a coffee table before. I closed the door. Are you okay? She laughed. It was a hollow sound, no humor in it. No, I'm not. Silence. She stared down at the wine bottle in her hand like she'd forgotten she was holding it. Sorry, she said. I know we barely talk, but I needed to get out of that apartment, and yours was the closest. It's fine. Do you want to sit? She nodded. We sat on the couch, a careful distance between us. I didn't know what to do with my hands. Do you want some water? Or I can get glasses if you want to open that. She looked at the wine like she was seeing it for the first time. Water's good. I went to the kitchen, filled 2 glasses, came back. She took one but didn't drink. Just held it. I just came from a meeting, she said, her voice flat. 3 hours. About quarterly targets that no one's going to hit, with people who pretend to care about things that don't matter. She took a breath, deep and shaky. I'm 41 years old. I work 60 hours a week at a firm that doesn't know my name. I live alone. No kids, no partner, no one waiting for me at the end of the day. She paused, and today, I realized something. I'm tired. I'm so tired of pretending any of it matters. She turned to look at me then, really look at me. Her eyes were red-rimmed but clear, and I realized something else. My stomach tightened. I didn't know what was coming, but I felt it. The weight of whatever she was about to say. I realized that the only person in this entire building who looks at me like I'm an actual human being is you. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. I know how that sounds, she continued. We barely know each other. We say good morning in the hallway and that's it. But every time I see you, you smile. Not the polite smile people do at work. A real one, and She stopped, swallowed. I started looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you, listening for your footsteps in the hall, timing my mornings so I might run into you by the mailboxes. She set the water glass down on my coffee table with a trembling hand. I'm older and I'm tired, she said, her voice breaking slightly, and I think I'm in love with you. The words hung in the air between us. Heavy, impossible. I didn't know what to say. My mind was racing, trying to process what I'd just heard. She stood up suddenly. I shouldn't have come. This is insane. I'm sorry. I'll just... Wait. I stood too. Don't go. She stopped, looked at me, waiting. I don't know what to say, I admitted. But I don't want you to leave thinking you made a mistake coming here. Her shoulders dropped slightly, some of the tension releasing. Can I be honest? I asked. She nodded. I notice you too. The way you leave at the same time every morning. The sound of you coming home late. I've wondered about you. What your days are like, if you're okay. I rubbed the back of my neck. I just never thought. I mean, you always seem so together. So far above someone like me. Someone like you? She almost laughed. You mean someone who seems like an actual person? Who lives a real life instead of performing one? She sat back down, slower this time. I sat too. I don't know if what I'm feeling is real, she said quietly, or if I'm just desperate for something, anything, that feels genuine. But I needed to say it, because I've spent so much of my life being careful, being professional, doing the right thing, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of pretending I'm fine. She looked at me again, vulnerable in a way that made my chest ache. I just needed someone to know. Even if nothing comes of it, I needed to say it out loud. We sat there in the quiet of my small apartment. Outside, the city hummed. A car passed. Someone laughed in the distance. Thank you, I said finally, for trusting me with that. She nodded, exhaled. Can I stay a little longer? I don't want to go back to my apartment yet. Yeah, of course, as long as you want. So she stayed. We opened the wine. We talked. Not about what she'd just confessed, but about smaller things. She told me about her job, the impossible expectations, the constant travel. I told her about my work, the satisfaction of fixing something that's broken, making it work again. We talked until midnight. When she finally left, she paused at my door. Thank you, she said, for not making this weird. You didn't make it weird, I said. You were just honest. She smiled. Small, but real. Good night. Good night. I closed the door and stood there in the silence, my heart beating harder than it should have been. Everything had just changed. I just didn't know how much yet. The next morning I woke up thinking about her, about what she'd said, about the rawness in her voice when she told me she was tired. I made coffee, 2 cups instead of 1, and before I could second-guess myself, I knocked on her door. She answered after a moment, still in pajamas, soft pants and an oversized shirt, hair messy, no makeup. She looked surprised. I made too much coffee, I said, holding up the second mug. Thought you might want some. She stared at the mug, then at me. Something shifted in her expression. Relief, maybe. Yeah, I'd like that. She let me in. Her apartment was a mirror image of mine, but neater, more carefully arranged. Everything in its place. A laptop open on the kitchen counter, papers stacked beside it. The couch had decorative pillows that actually matched. We sat at her small kitchen table, drank coffee, didn't talk about the night before, just small things. She asked about my day. I asked about hers. Normal? Easy. When I left 20 minutes later, she said, "Same time tomorrow?" I smiled. Yeah, same time. That became our routine. Every morning I'd bring coffee. We'd sit for 15-20 minutes before she had to get ready for work. We talked about nothing important. The weather. A funny thing that happened at one of my jobs. Something she'd heard on the news, but it felt important. The way small things do when you share them with someone who actually listens. After a few days, she started coming to my place instead. It was less formal. She'd knock. I'd already have the coffee ready, and we'd sit on my couch. Sometimes we wouldn't even talk much. Just sit there, comfortable in the quiet. A week in, she showed up after work. Still in her business clothes, but with her shoes off, carrying takeout containers. I got Thai food, she said. Too much for one person. Want to split it? We ate sitting on my living room floor, using the coffee table as a dining table. She told me about her day, a client who kept changing their mind, a meeting that should have been an email. I told her about rewiring a restaurant kitchen, how satisfying it was when everything finally worked. Do you like it? She asked. The work, I mean. Yeah, I do. It's tangible. You can see what you fixed. There's a problem. You solve it. You move on. That sounds nice, she said quietly. My work never feels finished. It's just one thing leading to the next forever. You ever think about doing something else? She was quiet for a moment. All the time. But I don't know what else I'd do. I've been doing this for 15 years. It's who I am. Is it who you want to be? She looked at me. Really looked. I don't know anymore. The days blurred into weeks. Our routine expanded. Coffee in the mornings. Sometimes dinner after work. On weekends, she'd knock on my door mid-morning. Want a walk? We'd walk through the neighborhood, down to the park, past the small shops, the old church, the community center where I worked out. She'd point out buildings, tell me what used to be there before it changed. I'd notice things she didn't. Architectural details, how the wiring must run through these old structures, small repairs that needed doing. You see the world differently than I do, she said once. How so? You notice the underneath, the structure. I just see the surface. You see people, I said. That's harder. She looked at me. I used to think I did, now I'm not so sure. One evening, about 3 weeks after that first night, she showed up at my door crying. Not loud, dramatic crying, just silent tears running down her face. She didn't say anything, just stood there. I pulled her inside, held her. She pressed her face against my shoulder and shook. What happened? Bad day, she managed. Really bad day. I didn't push, just held her until the shaking stopped. Come on, I said finally. Let's cook something. I'm not hungry. Doesn't matter, we're cooking anyway. I pulled her into the kitchen, started pulling out ingredients. Pasta, olive oil, garlic, tomatoes. Simple, familiar. You're chopping vegetables, I said, handing her a knife and cutting board. I don't. Yes, you do. Come on. She started chopping. Slowly at first, then with more confidence. I put water on to boil, heated oil in a pan, started the sauce. We worked side by side in the small kitchen, not talking, just moving. The rhythm of it, the simple act of making something together, seemed to settle her. By the time we sat down to eat, she'd stopped crying. Thank you, she said. For what? For not asking me to explain, for not trying to fix it. Some things can't be fixed, I said. Sometimes you just need someone to be there while you get through it. She reached across the table, took my hand, squeezed it. We stayed like that for a moment. Then she let go and we ate. After that night, something shifted. She started telling me more about her mother, who called every week to ask when she was going to settle down, find someone, stop wasting her life on a career. About the ex-fiancé who'd left her 5 years ago because she wouldn't quit her job to move with him. About the friends who'd slowly disappeared when she stopped being available for brunches and girls' nights because she was always working. I spent so much time trying to prove I was valuable, she said one night. We were on my couch, her legs tucked under her, a mug of tea in her hands. Prove I was smart enough, successful enough, worth something. And now I look around and realize I don't have anything that actually matters. No real connections. No one who knows me. I'm getting to know you, I said. She looked at me. Yeah, you are. We started spending more time together. She'd come over after work even when she was exhausted, just to sit on my couch while I read or watched something. Sometimes she'd fall asleep there. I'd put a blanket over her, turn off the lights, and leave her to rest. In the mornings, I'd find a note on my coffee table. Thanks for letting me crash. LL. I'd finally learned her name. Lauren. One Saturday, she asked if I wanted to come with her to run errands. Grocery store, post office, nothing exciting. But I said yes. We drove in her car, nicer than anything I'd ever owned, and she played music I'd never heard before. Indie stuff, mellow and thoughtful. At the grocery store, we fell into an easy rhythm. She'd grab something, I'd put it in the cart. She asked my opinion on vegetables, bread, whether this wine was worth the extra $5. This feels weirdly domestic, she said, laughing a little as we loaded bags into her trunk. Is that bad? No, she said, quieter. It's nice. We brought the groceries back to her place. I helped her put things away. Her kitchen was more organized than mine, everything labeled and in its place. Want to make dinner together? She asked. What are we making? I don't know. Whatever sounds good. We settled on stir-fry. She chopped vegetables while I prepped the chicken, heated the wok. We moved around each other easily now, comfortable in the same space. She'd hand me something before I asked for it. I'd reach for a pan and she'd already have it ready. We ate at her table this time. The food was good, simple but satisfying. I used to hate cooking, she said. It always felt like one more thing I had to do. But this is different. What's different? I'm not doing it alone. After dinner, we sat on her couch. She put on a movie, but neither of us really watched it. We just talked about everything and nothing. She told me about her college years, how driven she'd been, how she'd thought success would make her happy. I told her about my dad, how he'd taught me to fix things, how much I missed him. He would have liked you, I said. You think? Yeah. He liked people who were honest. Real. She leaned her head on my shoulder, just rested it there. I didn't move, barely breathed. After a moment, I felt her relax. Is this okay? She asked quietly. Yeah, it's okay. We stayed like that until the movie ended. When she lifted her head, she looked at me for a long moment. I'm still scared, she said, that this isn't real, that I'm imagining it because I'm desperate. It feels pretty real to me. What if I mess it up? What if you don't? She smiled. Small but genuine. You make things sound so simple. They don't have to be complicated. The weeks kept passing, our lives intertwined more and more. She started keeping a toothbrush at my place. I had a spare key to hers. We'd text during the day, small things, nothing profound. This meeting is killing me. Fixed a breaker that's been tripping for 6 months. Client is thrilled. On Sunday mornings, we'd make breakfast together. Eggs, toast, coffee. We'd eat slowly, taking our time. Sometimes she'd read articles aloud from her phone. Sometimes I'd tell her about something I was working on. I haven't felt this settled in years, she said one morning. Settled? Like I'm not constantly running. Like it's okay to just be. It is okay. She reached across the table, took my hand. I'm glad I knocked on your door that night. Me too. But even as things got easier, I could see her wrestling with something. Some days she'd be present, laughing, fully there. Other days she'd be distant, distracted. I'd catch her staring at nothing, her face tight with worry. What's going on? I'd ask. Nothing. Just work. But it wasn't just work. I could feel it. Something was building, some pressure I couldn't quite see. I didn't push. Just stayed close. Made sure she knew I was there. One evening, about 2 months after that first night, she showed up looking different. Tense. Her shoulders tight. Her jaw set. I need to tell you something, she said. My stomach dropped. Okay. She sat on my couch. Took a breath. My company offered me a new position. Different city. Better pay. Better hours. Less pressure. I felt the floor shift beneath me. When? I'd start in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. A month and a half. What did you say? I said I'd think about it. Silence, heavy and thick. This is a good opportunity, she said, like she was trying to convince herself. A chance to start over, get out from under all the stress here. Yeah, it sounds good. She looked at me. But nothing. If it's what you want, you should do it. I don't know what I want. Her voice cracked. That's the problem. I don't know if I want to leave or if I'm just scared to stay. Scared of what? Scared that this, she gestured between us, isn't real. That it's just me running from one thing to another. That when I'm not desperate and tired anymore, I'll realize I made a mistake. The words hurt, but I understood them. I can't tell you what to do, I said carefully, but I can tell you that this is real for me. Whatever it is, however we define it. It's not me running, it's me wanting to stay. She closed her eyes. I don't know how to trust that. I know. We sat in silence, the weight of it pressing down on both of us. I have to decide by Friday, she said finally. That was 4 days away. Okay. She left early that night, said she needed to think. I let her go, and for the first time in weeks I went to bed in the silence, listening through the wall, hearing her move around in her apartment, wondering if this was the beginning of the end. The next few days felt like waiting for something to break. Lauren was distant. Not cold, just somewhere else in her head. She still came over, but the easy rhythm we'd built felt strained. We'd sit on the couch and the silence wasn't comfortable anymore. It was full of questions neither of us knew how to ask. On Wednesday, 2 days before her deadline, her mother showed up. I was at Lauren's place. We'd just finished eating. Leftovers I'd brought from my apartment. She'd been quiet all through dinner, picking at her food, staring at her phone every few minutes like she was waiting for something. Then the knock came. Sharp, demanding. Lauren's face went pale. That's my mother. You want me to go? No, stay, please. She opened the door, and a woman in her late 60s walked in like she owned the place. Expensive coat, perfectly styled hair, the kind of put together that screamed control. Her eyes swept the apartment, landed on me, narrowed. Who is this? Mom, this is, you're seeing someone and you didn't tell me? Her mother's voice was sharp, accusatory. We're not, Lauren stumbled over her words. We're neighbors, I said, standing. Friends. Her mother looked me up and down. The assessment was cold, dismissive. Friends. She said it like the word tasted bad. Mom, why are you here? I came because you haven't been returning my calls. And because I heard from Patricia, you remember Patricia from the club, that you've been offered a position in Boston. A good position. And you're considering turning it down. How did you... Is it because of him? Her mother gestured at me without looking at me. No, it's because I don't know if I want to leave. Don't be ridiculous. You have no reason to stay here. You're 41 years old, Lauren. No husband, no children, a job that's burning you out. This is your chance to start fresh somewhere new. Maybe I'm starting fresh here. Her mother laughed. It was a harsh sound. With an electrician. After everything you've accomplished? After all the sacrifices you made to build your career? I should have left. This wasn't my fight. But something about the way Lauren's shoulders hunched, the way she seemed to shrink under her mother's words, kept me rooted. Mom, please. What kind of life do you think you'll have? You think this is what fulfillment looks like? Living in this building, dating someone who... She stopped herself, but the implication hung in the air. I should go, I said quietly to Lauren. No, Lauren said, her voice stronger. Stay. Her mother's eyes flashed. Lauren Elizabeth. Stop! Lauren's voice cut through. Just stop. I know what you think. I know you think I'm wasting my life, that I made the wrong choices, that I should have married David when I had the chance, should have given you grandchildren, should have been the daughter you wanted. But I can't keep living my life trying to prove something to you. I'm trying to help you. You're trying to control me like you always have. The room went silent. I could hear my own heartbeat. Her mother's face hardened. I see. Well, when this falls apart, and it will, don't come crying to me. She turned to leave, then stopped, looked back at me. You're going to ruin her life. I hope you know that. She left. The door closed with a precise click. Lauren stood frozen. Then slowly, she sat down on the couch. Didn't cry. Just stared at the wall. I sat beside her. Waited. I'm sorry, she finally said. You don't need to apologize. She's right about one thing. Her voice was hollow. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is me choosing something real or just running from everything else. Lauren! No. Listen. She turned to look at me. What if she's right? What if I'm making a mistake? What if I turn down this job, stay here, and 6 months from now realize I was just desperate? That I confused loneliness for love? The words landed like punches. Is that what you think this is? I asked quietly. I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know anything anymore. I wanted to argue, to convince her. But I could see it in her eyes. The doubt had taken root. Her mother had watered something that was already growing. I need some time, she said. To think. Okay. Alone. I stood up. I'm next door if you need me. She didn't respond. Just sat there, staring at nothing. I let myself out. That night I lay in bed listening to the sounds from her apartment. Pacing. The muffled sound of her voice. She was on the phone with someone. Probably a friend. It went on for hours. The next day, Thursday, I didn't hear from her. No morning coffee. No texts. I went to work, fixed a faulty outlet in a dentist's office, replaced a ceiling fan in someone's bedroom, kept my phone in my pocket, checking it every few minutes. Nothing. That evening I almost knocked on her door. Stood there in the hallway for 5 minutes, hand raised. But I didn't. She'd asked for space. I had to respect that. Friday morning, her deadline day, I woke up early, made coffee, sat at my table staring at my phone. At 9:30 I heard her door open, heard her heels in the hallway. Going to work. I went to my door, looked through the peephole, caught a glimpse of her in her business suit, hair pulled back, briefcase in hand. She looked like the woman I'd seen for 2 years before any of this started. Put together. Untouchable. Gone. I worked that day, but I couldn't focus. Nearly got shocked because I wasn't paying attention to what wire I was touching. The homeowner asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. It was a lie. That evening, I finally got a text. Can you come over? I was at her door in 30 seconds. She let me in. She'd changed out of her work clothes into jeans and a sweater. Her face was tired. Makeup smudged like she'd been crying. I called them, she said. Gave them my answer. My chest tightened. And I told them I needed to accept. That it was too good an opportunity to pass up. That I'd be there in 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Not 6. They'd asked her to start earlier. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. "I'm sorry," she said. Tears were running down her face now. "I'm so sorry, but I can't stay. I can't trust that this is real, and I can't risk—" Her voice broke. "I can't risk my whole life on something I'm not sure about." "Okay," I heard myself say, calm, detached, like it wasn't my world crumbling. "I understand. Do you?" "No, but I'm not going to fight you on this. If you need to go, you need to go." She wiped her face. "I keep waiting for you to be angry, to tell me I'm making a mistake, to try to convince me. That's not my job. This is your life, your choice. Even if it's the wrong one." Even then, we stood there in her apartment, all the dinners we'd shared, the conversations, the quiet mornings. Everything we'd built in 2 months suddenly felt fragile, temporary, like it had always been ending and we just didn't want to see it. "I have 4 weeks," she said, "to pack, to finish things at work, to say goodbye." She nodded. "Can we—" She stopped, started again. "Can we still see each other? Until I leave?" It would hurt. Every day would hurt. But the alternative, cutting her off now, would hurt more. "Yeah, we can do that." She moved closer, hugged me. I held her, feeling her shake against me. "I'm going to regret this," she whispered. "I already do." "Then why are you doing it?" "Because I'm scared. And when I'm scared, I run. It's what I've always done." I wanted to tell her she didn't have to, that she could stay, that we could figure it out together. But she'd made her choice. And maybe her mother was right. Maybe I would ruin her life. Maybe this was mercy disguised as abandonment. "I should go," I said, pulling back. "Let you rest." "Okay." I walked to the door, turned back. She was standing in the middle of her living room, arms wrapped around herself, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. "For what it's worth," I said, "it was real for me." "I know." Her voice cracked. "That's what makes this so hard." I left, went back to my apartment, sat on the couch in the dark. Through the wall I could hear her crying, and for the first time in 3 years I cried too. The next 3 weeks were strange. We still saw each other, but everything felt different. Careful, like we were both trying not to break something that was already broken. She came over for coffee some mornings. We'd sit and talk about surface things, the weather, her packing progress, my work. Never about what was actually happening. Never about the fact that she was leaving. I helped her sort through things, box up books, decide what to keep and what to donate. We worked side by side in her apartment, and sometimes I'd catch her looking at me with this expression I couldn't read. Sadness, maybe, or regret. Her last day of work was a Wednesday. She came home early, dropped her bag by the door, and knocked on my apartment. When I opened it, she just stood there. "I don't want to be alone tonight," she said. "Come in." We ordered pizza, sat on my couch, put on a movie neither of us watched. She fell asleep with her head on my shoulder. I stayed perfectly still, not wanting to wake her, memorizing the weight of her there. When she woke up around midnight, she looked at me. "I should go. You can stay. That'll make it harder." "It's already hard." She stayed, slept in my bed while I took the couch. In the morning, I woke up to find her making coffee in my kitchen, wearing one of my t-shirts. "Morning," she said softly. "Morning." We didn't talk about it. Just drank coffee together one more time. The days counted down. 1 week left, 5 days, 3. Her mother called twice. Both times Lauren didn't answer. She told me her mother was planning to help her move, had already booked a flight. The thought of that woman in Lauren's apartment, packing her life into boxes with that satisfied look on her face, made me sick. 2 days before she was supposed to leave, boxes stacked in her apartment, moving truck reserved, I made a decision. I knocked on her door at 8 in the evening. She answered in sweats, hair messy, exhausted. "Can I come in?" "Yeah." She let me in. I looked around at the half-empty apartment, her life dismantled, ready to be transported somewhere else. "I need to say something," I started, "and I need you to just listen, okay?" She nodded, wrapping her arms around herself. "I'm not here to beg you to stay. I'm not here to tell you you're making a mistake. I'm here because I need you to know something before you go." I took a breath. "You said you didn't know if this was real. If what you felt was desperation or something genuine. And I get that. I understand being scared. But I need you to know that whatever you're feeling, whatever confusion you have, this isn't confusion for me." She She started to speak, but I held up my hand. You're not a distraction. You're not me settling for companionship because I'm lonely. For the first time in years, I wake up and feel like there's a reason to. Not because you fixed something broken in me, but because you're someone I want to share things with. The good days, the bad ones, the boring ones where nothing happens. Her eyes were filling with tears. I'm not asking you to stay, I continued, but I need you to know that if you leave thinking this wasn't real, you're wrong. If you leave thinking you were just running from one thing to another, you're wrong. What we have, it's real. At least for me. I know it's real, she whispered. That's what terrifies me. Why? Because what if I'm not enough? What if you wake up one day and realize you settled? That you deserve someone younger, someone less damaged, someone who doesn't come with all this? She gestured vaguely at herself. Baggage. I'm 32 years old, I said. I've had relationships. I've met a lot of people, and none of them made me feel the way you do. This isn't settling. This is me choosing. Choosing what? You, the actual you, not some perfect version. The you who shows up at my door crying. The you who falls asleep on my couch when you're exhausted. The you who's scared and confused and doesn't have all the answers. That's who I'm choosing. She was crying now, silent tears running down her face. But I can't make this decision for you, I said. You have to decide what you want, not what your mother wants, not what you think you should want, what you actually want. I want to not be scared. That's not how it works. You're going to be scared either way. If you go, you'll be scared you made the wrong choice. If you stay, you'll be scared it won't work out. There's no version of this where you're not scared. Then how do I decide? You decide what you'd regret more, leaving or staying. She sank down onto one of the boxes, put her face in her hands. Her shoulders shook. I knelt in front of her. Lauren, look at me. She lifted her head. I can't promise you this will work out. I can't promise I won't disappoint you or that we won't have problems or that everything will be perfect. But I can promise you that I'm not going anywhere. That whatever we face it together. That you don't have to be perfect or have it all figured out. You just have to be honest. I'm so tired, she said, her voice breaking. I'm so tired of being strong, of making the right choices, of proving I'm worth something. Then stop. Just stop. You don't have to prove anything to me. You already did when you knocked on my door that night, when you let yourself be vulnerable. That's worth more than any job title or accomplishment. She was quiet for a long moment, just breathing, thinking. Then she said so quietly I almost missed it. I don't want to go. What? I don't want to go. Louder now. I thought I did. I thought leaving would fix things, but it won't. Because the problem isn't where I am. It's that I've spent my whole life running from anything that feels uncertain. And it's uncertain. But it's also the most certain thing I've felt in years. So what are you saying? She looked at me, really looked at me. I'm saying I need to call them. Tell them I can't accept that I'm staying. Are you sure? No, I'm terrified. But I'm more terrified of walking away from this, from you. What about your mother? She'll be furious. She'll probably stop speaking to me for a while. But she's been furious before. I'll survive. She pulled out her phone, stared at it. Do you want me to leave while you... No, stay, please. She dialed, put it on speaker. It rang 3 times before someone answered. This is Lauren Pierce. I need to speak with Jennifer Morgan about the Boston position. There was a pause. Hold music. Then a woman's voice. Lauren, hi. I was just about to call you. We're so excited to have you join the team. I wanted to go over the relocation package details. Jennifer, I need to stop you. I'm calling because I can't accept the position. Silence on the other end. I'm sorry, I know the timing is terrible, but I've realized this isn't the right move for me. Lauren, can I ask what changed? If this is about the salary, we might have some flexibility. It's not about money, I need to stay where I am. I'm building something here, something that matters to me. More silence then. I understand. I'm disappointed, of course, but I respect your decision. Thank you for understanding. If you ever change your mind, feel free to reach out. I will. Thank you. She hung up, stared at the phone in her hand like she couldn't believe what she'd just done. Then she looked at me. I just turned down a 6-figure job and a fresh start. Yeah, you did. I must be insane. Maybe. Or maybe you're just choosing yourself for once. She started laughing, then crying. Then both at once. I pulled her into my arms and held her while she shook. "What do I do now?" she asked into my shoulder. "Now? Now we unpack these boxes, and tomorrow we figure out the rest." She pulled back. "Just like that? Just like that? What if I panic again? What if I wake up next week and regret this? Then we deal with it together." She nodded, took a shaky breath. "Okay, together." We spent the rest of the night unpacking, putting books back on shelves, hanging clothes back in the closet, dismantling the decision to leave piece by piece. Around midnight, we collapsed on her couch, exhausted. "My mother is going to lose it," she said. "Probably. She'll say I'm throwing my life away. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but it's your life to throw." She laughed. Tired but real. "You make terrible decisions sound almost reasonable. It's a gift." She leaned against me. "Thank you." "For what?" "For not giving up on me. Even when I gave up on myself. I wasn't going to let you disappear that easily." She tilted her head up, looked at me with something I hadn't seen before. Not fear or doubt, just clarity. "I love you," she said. "I don't know if I'm supposed to say that yet, but I do. I love you too." She kissed me then, soft and tentative and full of everything we'd been holding back. When she pulled away, she smiled. "So what now? Now we sleep. Tomorrow we live. And we see where it goes. That simple? That simple." She curled up against me. Within minutes, she was asleep. I stayed awake a while longer, listening to her breathe, thinking about how close we'd come to losing this, how fragile it all was. But for now, she was here. We were here. And that was enough. 6 months later, we're still living in separate apartments. We talked about combining them, about one of us giving up our lease, but we decided not to. Not yet. We like having our own spaces, doors we can close when we need to. But most nights, we fall asleep in the same bed, usually mine. She says my apartment feels cozier. I think she just likes my couch. The routines we built in those first 2 months have held. Coffee in the mornings, always. Sometimes at my place, sometimes hers. We take turns cooking dinner. She's gotten better at it. I've gotten better at letting her take the lead. Things changed for her at work. About a month after she decided to stay, she gave her notice. It wasn't dramatic. She just walked into her boss's office and said she was done. 2 weeks later, she was out. She didn't have another job lined up. That terrified her. But she did it anyway. For a few weeks, she didn't work at all. Just slept in, took walks, read books she'd been meaning to read for years. I'd come home from job sites and find her on my couch, still in pajamas, looking more relaxed than I'd ever seen her. "Shouldn't you be job hunting?" I asked once, and probably, but I'm not ready yet. "Okay. You're not going to push me?" "Nope," she smiled. "Good." Eventually she found something, a small nonprofit that works with women trying to re-enter the workforce after major life disruptions. Domestic violence survivors, women coming out of addiction, single mothers who'd been out of work for years. The pay is less than half what she made before. The office is in a converted warehouse with terrible heating. Her title is Program Coordinator, which sounds important but really means she does whatever needs doing. She loves it. "I helped someone update their resume today," she told me one night over dinner. She hadn't worked in 8 years, stayed home with kids, then got divorced. She kept apologizing for the gaps like she'd done something wrong. And I got it. I understood exactly how she felt. What did you tell her? That survival counts as experience. That rebuilding your life takes skills most jobs don't even recognize. And that she was exactly the kind of person we wanted to hire. Did she get the job? Interview is next week, but yeah, I think she will. Lauren still has bad days. Days when the doubt creeps back in, when she wonders if she made a mistake, if she gave up too much, if she's settling for less than she deserves. On those days, I don't try to talk her out of it. I just listen, make dinner, sit with her while she works through it. "I'm 42 years old," she said one night. "I should have my life figured out by now." Says who? Everyone. Society. My mother. "Your mother still not talking to you?" She texts occasionally, short, disapproving messages. "Hope you're well." That kind of thing. That's progress, I guess. Is it? You're living your life without her approval. That's progress. She was quiet for a moment. Sometimes I miss her. Not who she actually is. Who I wanted her to be. I know. Is that stupid? No, it's human. She curled up against me. "How did you get so patient?" Practice. Lots of practice being alone. You're not alone anymore. No, I'm not. We have small traditions now. Saturday mornings, we walk to the farmer's market 3 blocks away. Buy vegetables, bread, sometimes flowers. Sunday nights, we cook something complicated. Something that takes time and planning. Last week, it was homemade pasta. The week before, Thai curry from scratch. We're not perfect. We argue sometimes. She gets frustrated with my tendency to withdraw when I'm stressed. I get frustrated with her need to process everything verbally, immediately. But we've learned how to fight, how to take breaks when things get heated, how to come back and actually listen, instead of just waiting for our turn to talk. I've never had this before, she said once, after we'd worked through a disagreement about her working too many hours. A relationship where we can be angry and it doesn't mean it's over. What did your other relationships look like? Silent, polite, everyone pretending everything was fine until it wasn't. Then it just ended. This isn't ending. How do you know? Because we're still here. Still choosing to stay. She smiled. Yeah, we are. My work hasn't changed much. I'm still fixing electrical problems. Still running wire through old walls. Still getting call-outs for breakers that won't stop tripping. But it feels different now. I come home to someone. Tell her about my day. She asks questions. Actually wants to know about the technical details. How do you know which wire is which? She asked once while I was fixing an outlet in her kitchen. I showed her, explained the color coding, the way circuits work. She listened like it was the most interesting thing in the world. You really love this, she said. Yeah, I do. I like watching you work. You get this look on your face, total focus. Is that a compliment? It is. Some evenings we don't talk much, just exist in the same space. She'll be on her laptop writing grant applications for the nonprofit. I'll be reading or fixing something. The silence is comfortable, full, not empty. One night, about 5 months in, we were lying in bed. Not sleeping yet, just talking in the dark. Do you ever regret it? She asked quietly. Regret what? Getting involved with me, taking on all my complications. No, not even a little? Not even a little, do you? She was quiet for a moment. I regret waiting so long. I regret all the years I spent proving things to people who didn't matter. But this? Us? No, I don't regret this. Good. I'm still scared sometimes. I know, but I'm not running anymore. I know that too. She rolled over, faced me in the darkness. I don't know what I did to deserve you. You knocked on my door, that's all it took. It was the wine. The cheap wine gave me courage. Remind me to buy more cheap wine. She laughed. That sound still gets me. Full and unguarded and real. I love you, she said. I love you too. We're not talking about the future much. Not making big plans. We know where we'll be next week, next month. Beyond that, it's uncertain. And that's okay. She's learning to live with uncertainty. I'm learning to let someone in. We're both learning that love isn't about having everything figured out. It's about choosing to stay even when things are messy, especially when things are messy. Last week, we were at the grocery store, just doing normal things, picking out vegetables, debating whether we needed more coffee. An older couple was in the same aisle. They moved around each other easily. That unconscious choreography of people who've been together a long time. Lauren watched them. Think that'll be us one day? Maybe. You don't sound sure. I'm not sure about tomorrow. How can I be sure about 30 years from now? Fair point. But I can tell you this, I'm showing up tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. Beyond that, I shrugged. We'll figure it out. She took my hand. Yeah, we will. This morning we had coffee like always. She had to leave early for a meeting. I'm heading out to replace a panel in an old restaurant. Tonight we'll probably make dinner, watch something, fall asleep on the couch. It's simple, ordinary. Exactly what she said she needed that first night. A place to rest. Still hear her through the wall sometimes. But now I can just walk over. Knock, she'll let me in. And we'll sit in the quiet together. Two people who were tired of being alone, learning how to be together. It's not a fairy tale ending. It's better than that. It's real.